live then, Matt?
It's on.
We're live?
Yep.
Okay. All right, welcome everybody. We're here to have a meeting about bringing side-by-sides into Millersburg and just trying to look over and get ideas and suggestions of kind of where everybody's looking to be, as in what they want and rules and regulations. So I have the solicitor here if you have any questions, and as well as Matt Shaner, the police chief. Kind of start in the discussion, kind of see where we want to go here. If anybody wants to start, or I can start. More or less what the information I gave you here is all the local villages. I have Loudonville's, I have Coshocton, Shreve, and I also went further north and I have Hebron on here. Basically kind of shows their ordinance and what they have, basically how they wrote it up and what they do. And in each one of those it shows their checklist of what they decided to check with as the inspection, as well as it shows like their sticker and kind of their rules and regulations. So, and if any of you got a chance to look over them here, kind of look forward and see what we're looking to do. Like if we're kind of wanting to follow a certain town, or if we want to kind of get a mix between certain towns. Me personally, I kind of like Loudonville's layout of how they have it, but there's also Coshocton has some stuff. So, or we can create our own. So that's why we're here and having a committee, is to everybody be open and suggestions and their point of view. See where we go. And I guess with that sedating, looking to see Matt, is that something in your department? Are you looking, because I believe the police officer or police department has to be the one to do the inspection, or can it be done externally and then they sign off on it under like a secondary inspection?
Well, it's the local law enforcement or their appointee. So usually it's local law enforcement.
But could it be appointed to like another another local business that sells them and services them, that is knowledgeable in that category?
Let's look into that to see.
Because I know before in the past for like the Antique Festival, it has been outsourced to other businesses, and then it has been brought in and they basically signed off on it and it's good to go for that period of time for that event.
I know Loudonville says being inspected by the chief of police or his or her designee. The statute says inspection conducted by local law enforcement agency that complies with inspection requirements. It's established by the Department of Public Safety. So it doesn't directly state that in the statute. I would probably have to, just to give you a definitive answer, look into a little bit further.
Okay. So that could go either way, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of having a private business, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, having a private business do the inspection, because like I said, they sell them, they service them, they know the ins and outs. You know, we don't want to send a police officer to school to be a mechanic, but
Well, I don't think anything on the inspection list requires you to have mechanical aptitude.
if I said I have Loudonville's and Coshocton's in here, and it's very basic, it'd almost be kind of like a traffic stop, more or less.
If you have to go to mechanical school to see that somebody's got a working horn, turn signals, that stuff, then, well, it's super simple. And just like what I encountered with the HB 199 petition and such, and just owning side-by-sides ourselves, the Ohio BMV in Oroville they handed my husband a certificate, said take it over to the police department, they'll do it, whatever. But then you call the Ohio State Patrol, well, we're not aware of anything like that, this, that, and other thing. You call Millersburg and they're like, well, you gotta trailer it to Loudonville, and it literally states that pretty much any officer of the law can go down that checklist and check it off, and you can take it into the BMV and get your license plate.
Now, in the Loudonville packet, it actually does have the Ohio State inspection sheet on there. I had that printed as well. Basically, like, it shows the state's brakes, make sure it has brakes, 2 working brake lights, 2 headlights, 2 tail lights, turn signals, steering mechanism, windshield, rearview mirror, and make sure the tire's in safe operating condition. Make sure they're not cupped or bald. I mean,
Yes.
they're gonna be cupped, but they're not
Yes.
gonna be bald. So,
Yes.
And I think
very basic,
the brake inspection's always been the issue,
okay.
you know, what,
But how do they do the brake test? Like when DOT pulls you over, you basically, put the brake on. I mean,
Can I ask a question?
yes.
So, these are driven all over the county. So somebody's inspecting them. I've driven in Glenmont, driven in, you see them all over. My husband's a defense attorney, so he has cases where he can get an OVI on one, and the issue isn't that they weren't licensed or that they weren't inspected right. So somebody's inspected those improvements, I'm assuming it's the BMV office.
The BMV here won't do it.
Well, somebody is because.
Well, they're giving them a
driving.
license. Basically, they're wanting license, registration, and valid
Yeah, they have
insurance.
active insurance.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's more to that to the state law,
Right,
but
well, I'm saying
lo-
outside of Millersburg in
Yeah.
the county, people
Yeah.
are driving them around
Yes.
Glenmont, around other others, you know.
I know a lot of people take them to Coshocton and have them inspected.
Yeah, I know that. That's true.
And like the OSP in Akron, up around Talmadge, Cuyahoga Falls, stuff, they're like, just expect that if you're doing what you would do in a vehicle in one of these and get pulled over, it's the same.
basically,
same
they're-
deal.
what
So-
I've gotten from everybody is treat them like a car, is how they're wanting to do it.
Yes, and so like there's multiple counties around us that will actually do the inspections, and it doesn't matter where you're from. You're getting an Ohio license plate, you know? It's an Ohio inspection, so it doesn't matter what county you're from or where you take it to, you can still get it. But around here, you get the runaround, because BMV won't do it. The sheriff's department will tell you, you need to get a hold of Loudonville, trailer it over, you cannot ride it over, trailer it in, and have it inspected.
That was the same
and then-
story I got, yes.
Yes, so, I mean, there is a lot of confusion around any of the laws according to,
But I believe, like I said, if we do get this further ahead, I do believe we shouldn't be sending money to other counties. It should be made locally. Like, we should
absolutely.
keep money within the county and businesses, if it's whether it be business or whether it has to be, once he finds out, whether it has to be law office, I
I mean,
believe.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a law, it's, the statute says conducted by a local law enforcement agency. So I'm
Okay.
98% sure that it's gonna be relegated to,
But would it be able to be done as have the business do the inspection and they bring that inspection in here and basically that officer signs off on it, stating that that was done, even if they would bring the unit in, they'd give it another once over?
well,
Or
the,
how, I mean, I know it's kind of double the work, but,
I mean, the statute says submit a vehicle to an inspection conducted by a local law enforcement agency,
okay,
so.
So can I ask this question?
yes.
So in the past, I think Tom said it, I don't know if Chief Shaner said it, that we were short-staffed and we didn't have enough officers to do that. Do we have enough officers now, Chief, that if we needed somebody to inspect, they'd be able to do that?
The issue would be is I obviously wouldn't have one person sitting in the office. So if we say 8 to noon on whatever day,
Okay,
if it happened to be a weekend, because I think Loudonville's on Sundays.
Yes,
okay, so you designate
If,
time.
if it would be during that designated time and the officer got a call, he obviously is gonna have to handle the call and the person's gonna have to.
Obviously, yeah,
But other than that,
okay.
I don't,
We've
We-
never
we
really
just-
got to hear from you.
right, we just usually, if it's daytime hours, we usually only have one person.
Okay. Okay, but when you're not short-staffed, that there's a designated time.
No.
That's never been stated in public.
They just,
So now,
like I said, they would need to have patience that
That's the
Sure.
application.
it's something that eats up the whole, I mean, we don't get a lot of calls that would eat up the whole 4 hours, but they need to have the patience or
sure.
they would
You
probably.
know,
So-
how much they charge to do that? Cause if you're, how much is charged, how much is, when you get it registered like that with the fees?
Loudonville charges $50 for out-of-towners and then 15 for in-towns.
Yeah.
Which I believe respectfully, in town, if we do it,
And
it should be a cut
I-
rate.
General fund.
I don't know specifically that anybody else charges.
One of
That's
them
the
is-
only place that I've heard of that charges to do the inspection. So, I mean, it's kinda like a quick once over to make sure everything's, anybody with eyeballs and a half a working brain can tell what's working, what's not, if you have it, if you don't.
It probably wouldn't take a total of 15, 20 minutes to do that.
Yeah,
Well, and when Tom talks about brakes, obviously, if you have a vehicle, a semi, anything, it's your responsibility to make sure your car,
Yeah.
your vehicle.
But I mean, it
Brakes
could
go
work here in
out
the
and
parking
you-
lot and it could go
that's
down
the
and-
same vehicle and you've not maintained, so it's no different whether it's that or a car,
Yeah.
or a semi,
Right.
or a dump truck.
Yeah, they could
And-
work here during the inspection, and then 5 months down the road, it could fail.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Deputy Shaner, what you suggested with the times, would that be, like a first come, first serve? If you wanna show up during these hours, we have somebody available to inspect? Or is it, you should call and make an appointment ahead of time so we don't waste resources sitting here for 4 hours for no reason?
I think that's what
Well,
Loudonville
even if you make
does.
a reservation, if there's a call, the officer's gonna go to the call.
Correct.
So I guess unless we would be swamped every weekend or every day, it would kind of be first come, first served.
Okay.
You know, like I said, unless we would get swamped and we were not having enough time to get things done, you know, or something, you know, crazy happened, then
Right.
maybe we'd have to look at doing it. And maybe even calling and trying to schedule something would work better, but there again,
Right.
if you make an appointment at 12 o'clock and the officer has a call he's gotta go to, how irritated are you gonna be that, well, I made the appointment at 12, you know, it's,
Right,
that's
right.
See,
the-
Loudonville does theirs on Sundays from 9 to 1, and you gotta call and make an appointment for a certain Sunday.
Yeah,
They
and
just
then,
do it one day a week evidently.
yeah.
That's, you wait.
So I got a question, and I'm gonna ask this to the solicitor because, I keep hearing this, that those vehicles aren't even allowed to be on roads that are 55 miles an hour. Is that correct? Because that's what I keep hearing is they couldn't even come to town because they're not supposed to. Is that correct, even if they're registered and everything else?
Yeah, they're relegated to roads that are 35 miles an hour
Okay.
or less.
So.
You can cross an intersection that has a higher speed limit, but yeah.
So then moving forward, so, because this was something you hear me repeat, is, so if the Holmes County Sheriff's Office, before even coming to Millersburg, is not gonna stop them being on the main roads, then why are we not, you know, I mean, so, because to me, there's no point in even having this meeting, to a certain extent, I'm for it, but if they can't even be on, how are you gonna get into town if you're not even?
Right, well, see, just like it's up to this local municipality to decide whether side-by-sides are legal or not.
Yeah, I get it.
The Holmes County Sheriff has the right to say, you're allowed to be on the road today, or, you know, if you get permission by your local law enforcement.
Actually, you have to
But
get
nothing you
permission
can do
from the county,
overrides state
not the
law.
sheriff's department. It's gotta come from the county, not the sheriff's department.
What's that?
The sheriff's department doesn't have authority to give it, it's the county commissioners or township trustees.
Well, the county commissioner said no,
The county commissioners haven't passed anything one way or the other.
so.
My question is, why does the state sell us license plates and we're not
Yeah,
allowed
Yeah, I
to
agree
do
with
it?
that, that doesn't make any sense either. I
Yeah.
totally agree with
It's
that.
kind of like when the
I
federal
got
government says you
insurance.
can't do something, and the states pass laws they can, so you've got all
It's really
this.
stupid.
Right, there's so much confusion because even in that law, you'll read one paragraph and it says, no, you can't, but literally in another paragraph on the second page, it actually tells you you can. So And giving us license plates actually makes us legal, but you still have to ask permission. If you read that whole law, you still have to ask permission. So,
That was fine.
And how much is the average, I mean, it's been said, oh, we're gonna be all kinds of, these aren't cheap.
they're not. They are not by any
cheap
means.
vehicles. You can get a used car cheaper than a brand, and so I just don't think it's gonna be an influx of all of a sudden, you know, in town.
So, Andy and I met with Representative Heinrich Fair last Friday,
Correct.
and had a discussion, and he said he was gonna do some follow-up and call me, and he did, and he put me in contact with Kevin Miller. Kevin called me. House Bill 199 is not going anywhere. There's only 2 voting sessions this year left, and it's
It
not
was
going
last
anywhere.
year.
He is looking at it, I think is actually a smart way to look at it, and he apparently has legislation ready to go in the new session next year. And that is not to limit the speed limit in which they can operate, but to limit the speed limit, the speed limit on the roadway, but rather to limit the speed of the vehicle, so they can't operate more than 35 miles an hour. And this only pertains to utility vehicles, not all-purpose vehicles.
Yes.
And you have to be careful how you register your vehicle, because if you want to operate it just in the county and you register it as a utility vehicle, you're restricted. However, if you register it as an all-purpose vehicle, you're more free to do things. Clearly not operate in the village or city, but you do have that ability. His goal is to have one registration for both all-purpose and utility vehicles, and then have some kind of decal or sticker to distinguish between the two. And and if you look at the opposing testimony for the utility vehicle, it's all safety. It's all about safety. Because primarily insurance companies don't want to be hold the bag. So the opposing testimony, and I thought I brought it with me, was the Recreational Association of Ohio, I'm not sure who they are, Honda Motor Corp, Nationwide Ohio Insurance Institute, Ohio Manufacturing Association, Ohio Chamber of Commerce, Ohio Farm Bureau, Ohio Property and Casualty. It's all insurances that are objecting to this.
But they still
it's
insure
because of
the
speed.
vehicles.
But it's because of speed is what he has gotten back from them. They don't want him to be able to drive down the road at 55 miles. I mean, they can if they do that, that's on them. But at least in the law, they can't. And he's hoping that that will do away with this opponent testimony.
Let me ask you this, Tom. If that's the case, people that drive cars don't always follow the speed limit. So people,
He's trying to,
You see where I'm going with
he's trying to change the statute.
I understand that, we have laws about speed limits, that people still speed. They drink and drive, they speed, there's all kinds of tickets. So you have a law about you don't beat up your wife, but people get charged with domestic violence. So that's fine, but we're gonna wait for a law that people still aren't gonna always abide, and then they get tickets for it. So, in the world of unicorns, rainbows, and butterflies, everybody's gonna always go to the speed limit. That's not the real world.
But that's then
I
on them.
understand.
So he's trying to clear
Insurance
the
companies
issue
want cars
up.
to go the speed limit, so they don't wreck their cars and they don't have to, in a car. I understand where you're going with this, but that doesn't even make sense.
Fixing the law doesn't make sense.
People are still gonna not go the speed, I don't care what I could give a crap what the insurance company
But
wants.
at least it doesn't make them that they can't even bring it into town because the speed
Right.
limit is greater than 35 miles an hour. That's always been my issue. We're making
Right.
people criminals that aren't because we're giving them a license to operate in town, but they can't get it to town. So let's find an avenue to let them get
I
it
don't know
to
if that
town.
legislation
Well,
is
actually, I
in there.
actually said, in county, I never see a sheriff pull one over, so maybe the sheriff's office doesn't seem to care.
And how long's that legislation?
Oh,
been
they'll
set?
pull, they
It
will
hadn't
pull
moved
you
since May of
over
last
if
year.
you are acting a fool
He's doing a
or
new
doing
house.
something
It's all new
But there was other
legislation.
legislation.
to cause
back there, how
attention
long?
and so on, they will pull you over. It's
I think
been
this
well
is the second
documented
try
that they
at it.
have. So, it's not that they don't.
It's not a knock on them, I know they probably have more important things to do, I'm just saying, you never see anybody pull over, and I see them all over.
So the other thing he's trying to do is follow Washington County's resolution, which as far as he knows is the only county that has passed a resolution to allow them on county and township roads, so that it's legal, not that you don't have to go to every township and get approval, but just the commissioners approve it. So it would clean it up to two places you have to go, a village or city in town and the county commissioners. If both of those will pass, then you can operate at any place in the county. So what he's trying to do is pretty smart, and if the opposing testimony, or folks that are opposing the testimony are being honest with them, that's the issue is speed. And if you read their testimony, that's what it is.
Right.
So I think it's incumbent on us to whenever he introduces it, and it's gonna be after the first year, because we're in a lame duck session, nothing's gonna happen now.
So I
Just to
think
get
we can all
behind him.
agree, what potential revenue could be brought in by allowing these side-by-sides. I mean, you're looking at people not only from Holmes County, all over Ohio, coming in, and from out of state that need lodging, food, fuel, all the things. And, you know, so if we limit them to the main routes instead of out in the neighborhoods, unless you're coming from, say, you live on Walnut Street and you're coming from Walnut Street and you live there, well, you know, that's an exception, obviously. But you don't want them running around out in everybody's neighborhood ticking everybody off, because some of them aren't so quiet.
So I never asked, do you live in town?
I do not.
Do you live in town?
Yes.
I live in town and the semis and the logging trucks aren't required, so it's
Yeah.
less noise from these
Yeah.
vehicles.
But
My log truck's
there are
quiet.
there are always people never satisfied and looking for every reason to gripe. So,
No, I guess with the Smellersburg has never really adopted an ordinance. We've just more or less kind of taken the Ohio revised code version of it and kind of ran with it. Is that my understand? Like, basically, we're more or less kind of following the code. We never adopted an ordinance. Like,
Well, it's not legal in a village until a specific ordinance is adopted.
okay,
technically.
but like I said, we've never really adopted one. So if we would adopt one that has this case, we could not necessarily it would overrule that.
Yeah,
I mean-
the state provides guidelines, I mean,
Okay.
so they would be cohesive.
so if I'm not like wrong, didn't Millersburg adopt the ordinance 375-09, which already approves for Thunder over Holmes County and the Antique Festival? And if you would be able to amend that, you could expand on that. So you've got the basic groundwork already. And if it could be amended, then you could expand on that and do the approval if it's approved.
Is that so that you're saying that they can use side-by-sides to drive to work? Right?
Well, yeah.
During the Antique Festival and fireworks,
So
yeah.
right now, that's on closed road, well, technically, I mean.
Yep.
Yeah, technically, yes.
So I guess with that, I have spoken with the sheriff's department, and they have basically told me they treat side-by-sides in Holmes County, which I know you're saying go to commissioner level, but talking to the Holmes County Sheriff's Department, they basically said you have full-size license plate, driver's license, insurance, basically everything function, they're gonna treat it just like a car going down the road. They
Yep.
will not pull you over unless you are doing something out of the ordinary. So basically,
I'm not saying they're not enforcing, I'm saying it's not legal.
I mean, I don't say we're making criminals because they're out in the county doing it, and we have county-funded side-by-side runs, and it just don't make sense of why we're allowing them not to come into here. We're just letting them skirt around, and we're losing money. And
Has anybody gone to the county commissioners, Tom? You've been very, open about the law. Have you gone to a county commissioners
I mean,
meeting and
I've-
talked about that? Why not?
I've been working the state legislature and trying to encourage other people to work with the state legislature to fix the issue, but both Daryl Kick and Mark Heiner, and my conversation with Kevin Miller, except for you, they've not had any contact with anybody. So I encourage them to get the law changed, but nobody wants to take the
Yes.
effort to help get the law changed.
I actually, last fall, we invited the OSP and the Holmes County Sheriff's Department to the Holmes Conservation Club in Holmesville, because not only do we, well, I'm a trustee of that, but we started the Dusty Road Side by Side Club. And so everybody found out about this around here and was up in arms, so we invited everybody. Well, Holmes County Sheriff declined because they don't see eye to eye with OSP in Worcester. So rather than having two entities going at each other or not agreeing with each other, OSP came and spoke with us about that. And then I got started with the HB 199 petition. We ran it from February till June 9th when I went to the State House and sat with Mr. Miller and his aide, Faith, and we sat and discussed it, and basically I pointed out to him how Wisconsin and South Carolina just did what Washington County and Ohio did. Basically, county roads, township roads, all the things. If you look at the revenue Kentucky, West Virginia, Tennessee pulls in, I'm telling you already, in 4 trips this year, we've been to Tennessee, Kentucky twice, and actually we've been to West Virginia twice. We've dropped over 10 grand on those trips. Wouldn't you want some of that in here? I mean, if it's just 2 people dropping 10 grand on trips,
Yeah.
wouldn't you want a piece of that as well? So, I mean, if you look at what they do for the Hatfield-McCoy's trail systems, they do let you ride on the main roads and stuff so you can get to a connector trail or
Yeah.
whatever. Of course, we don't have trails around here, so our trails are the county and township roads, and a lot of people really enjoy that. And, you know, we've held so many poker runs, benefit runs and such, and there's always a driver's meeting, and they are told, don't be an idiot. If you're an idiot, you're gonna be asked to leave the group, you're gone, you'll never be allowed back. Plain and simple. You're either gonna be respectful and follow the laws, or you aren't welcome to come back to our group. So,
Kevin Miller's very passionate about fixing
Very.
this, very passionate.
yes.
And he's also working on e-bikes too, so.
Yeah, he kind of tasked me. I've taken a little break because it was so overwhelming, like literally every day working on HB 199, that my group, my helpers from like 6 different counties, we had, on social media, we had 66 of the 88 counties represented on social media and such. We had people as far as Bel Air, Ohio, that got petitions and took signatures and then turned them back. And I literally went through every petition signature myself twice and recorded everything. And we had over 1,700 actual signatures from at least 13 different counties. And out of those, I say there was at least, there was 1,614 of them that were actually countable. There was ones that were either unsigned, confirmed duplicates, or just unlegible. And so I did not count those. And then I went through and went back here over the last couple weeks, and from what I can come up with, we had over 290 signatures from Holmes County residents alone out of that. So that's 18% of my total signatures was from Holmes County alone. So we're very passionate about it.
And Mark Heiner's supportive of it too. I mean, our local representative, he just isn't as informed as Kevin. So he deferred to Kevin to
Yes.
answer some of the questions or get down in the nitty gritty.
Well, I want you to know, I've been asking residents what their input is, and it is not unanimous. It's literally 50-50.
Mm-hmm,
You know, not everybody's for it, not everybody's against it, so.
right.
I actually want to do what the residents want, and, you know, try to get them their feedback, but I guess my big thing is if you have somewhere driving and the sheriff's office says they treat it like cars, okay, then, I mean,
In 29 years, I've never seen somebody get a ticket.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
They may get a
So-
nosy eye on it, they crash it,
but you have the former police chief saying they're not supposed to be on the roads, but if the sheriff's office isn't gonna do it, then, you know, why not? I guess my question to the solicitor is, I mean, if something happens and they get into an accident or kill somebody, could that come back on the village, or is it just treated like a car, right?
That would be on their insurance, I would assume.
Yeah,
That's their-
I just don't
it's their
that's not a village liability issue.
No,
It's like, it's like any other vehicle. I mean,
that's why they require insurance and laws for them, so.
So like I said, I believe they should be treated as a vehicle. I mean, there's numerous vehicles that go through this town that don't have lights, turn signals. I understand it's a farm tractor pulling 15 people in the back in lawn chairs, but I believe a side-by-side is far safer than somebody would get rear-ended in a trailer full of people. I mean,
What
with the roll
percentage are all-purpose vehicles in your club and what percentage are utility vehicles?
I can't say specifically, but if I were to think, like, one of our largest side-by-side runs that we had 125 buggies at one time, and there were probably, I'll say maximum of 8 of those that couldn't do over 35. The rest of them totally
But,
could hit 60 miles an hour in 0.3 seconds, so.
but were they utility vehicles or all-purpose vehicles? There's two different types of vehicles.
Yeah, so I would say out of the 8 of them, there was probably 3 utilities and 5 of the other, yeah. But
So you're classifying a UTV and a side-by-side as being different as the bed on it? Is that what you're classifying as the difference?
Yeah, I mean, it's clear in the
So
code.
what do you consider a UTV?
It's gotta have a bed.
Okay, like certain size capacity or, I mean,
It can't be a storage compartment.
okay.
It's gotta be a bed.
But is that the way that should go? I mean,
Well, we don't have a
UTV and
choice.
side-by-side is kind of,
We don't have a choice.
but if it has a full-size plate on it, if they register,
Doesn't matter. The code's clear. Utility vehicles is all we have authority for. We don't have authority over all-purpose vehicles.
okay, but like if, how is it, it goes by how it's titled then you're saying?
Right. Well, you have to comply, Solicitor, I guess you can answer this. It has to comply with the manufacturing, you know, it's gotta be a utility vehicle, it's gotta have a bed, it can't be just a storage compartment behind the back seat. It's gotta be a utility vehicle.
But even though it would qualify and pass under the inspection sheet of everything they asked for?
No,
As it has full
utility
windshield?
vehicle is specifically defined in the statute, and it has a bed.
Okay,
And that's the 3 things that the statute gives the village authority over are utility vehicles, not low speed, under speed.
so it has to be a functioning
And,
bed, or
trucks.
like I said, it can just be a square box? Does it have to be a functioning up and down bed?
It's gotta be manufactured, you can't hook a bed.
Well, I understand that, but
Mine's got a bed on the back of it. Forest Ranger.
Yeah.
saying like, so like the Polaris Razor, some of them, they basically, it's a cubicle, it's a bed, you can still put something in there, it's just not a functioning working bed for, say, farm use per se, as they classify in there.
And
I can just read it straight, excuse me, I can just read it straight from the statute if you wanna know what the bed. Self-propelled vehicle designed with a bed, principally for the purpose of transporting material or cargo in connection with construction, agricultural, forestry, grounds maintenance, lawn and garden, materials handling, or similar activities.
So if you throw a chainsaw in the back, it's technically considered farm, like logging use?
Mine's got chainsaw in the back sometimes.
you have a utility vehicle.
Huh?
You have a bed and a utility vehicle. I assume we're not considering golf carts and.
No, I want to go
No.
strictly like
Well,
side
It's
by
part of
side.
the statute, I just wanna
Yeah.
make sure, so I sure don't wanna golf cart going up.
Yeah.
No, I want something that's gonna maintain speed
Yeah,
going through
just
town.
like, whatever's in front of my house is in front of my house, you know, I've lost all control.
Yeah, I don't think you have to necessarily include all three categories just because you're allowed to by statute. You could single that out to a single
Actually, a lot
type
of
of vehicle.
do golf carts and don't do utility vehicles or mini trucks, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
But I don't think the county licensed mini trucks anymore, do they? Cause I thought they quit doing that.
Well, it's
'Cause
in
they
the
haven't seen any
statute.
floating around.
This is a mechanism to license all three of those vehicles if the village were to pass legislation to that effect.
Okay, so I guess we covered the inspection route, seeing where we'd wanna go. Does anybody have any other suggestions on, I guess, requirements that we can bring back to council? Of like, you know, are they looking like certain hours, you know, like limitation?
Curfew,
Yeah, like a curfew, say like 11 to 7 or 11 to 6. I know some people like come in for breakfast if that would pass, you know, so you want to get here before certain, I mean, you don't
Or
want
but,
perfect.
what, you know, sometimes you have people that like to ride at night after dark.
Yeah.
Which is a fun thing to do, and you may need to come in and get gas.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm sure, like I said, that would be up to the officer
Right.
if you'd have an issue, but I mean, you'd almost want to set kind of a little bit of a limitation
right,
of like, you know, middle of the morning.
I
Curfew.
I don't understand that.
I wouldn't.
I mean, if we're treating it like a car, why would you have a curfew?
I mean, I wouldn't want a curfew.
Okay, now I guess with that, what do you guys think, like winter time? Would that be, should be just like a vehicle
Yeah.
year round? Cause like I said, some people have plows and use them for parking lots and,
I
Yep.
plowed a bunch last winter.
and sometimes those are a lot easier to drive through that kind of stuff than an actual vehicle, so.
Do we want to restrict age?
what's that?
Do we want to?
You're gonna have a driver's license for anything, that's what you,
But I had somebody say, do we want to keep, you know, make it 18 or older?
Oh, absolutely.
I would say 18, yes. I mean, you wanna have a driver's license, but I would say 18 and older.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah,
That way they have
License at
experience
16.
behind the wheel, I mean,
You gotta have driver's license for sure.
So if you do that, is it gonna be up to the officers, like say, he looks 14 and you're gonna pull him over, or is it have to be
Yeah.
a violation?
No,
that
if
would
you-
be up to
If
the
you don't have a
officer.
license, if you're too young, it's a violation.
Well, I know, but I mean, how are you gonna, like, if you pull somebody over who doesn't, I get it, like, 14 could be driving a car, what I'm saying is it gonna be like, if they think somebody's under a certain age, they can just randomly pull them over?
Yeah, they do in a regular vehicle.
Well,
Right.
It's just like if you have a cell phone up to your
I
ear.
get it, but in a car, you can't see them as well.
officers, whether you like it or not, can run a
Oh, absolutely,
event,
no, I get it.
and they can decide who owns that vehicle. And the vehicle's obviously probably gonna be owned by an adult, and then they're gonna know that person. And if that looks like their kid that they know is 14, then they're gonna be able to pull them over and pull them over for operating without a license.
I think anybody that operates one should be over 18, and these parents that are letting these little 14-year-olds out there running around on them, I think they should be charged with child neglect, honestly, so.
All I'm saying is sometimes the police department gets crap because they're randomly choosing to be pulled over, so that's all.
Oh, yeah, they
I mean,
do
as
that.
long as they're not doing anything wrong, I don't think they're gonna mess
Well,
with
yeah,
them,
know-
but I
know
mean,
there's people that look like they're 18 or in their late 20s, you know, that's all I'm saying, you just gotta look and, oh, they don't look old enough to drive that, randomly pull them over.
I mean, unless there's
Question.
probable cause, I don't think there would be an issue.
Just need to see
Yeah.
your driver's
There's
license.
no problem.
Probable
Yeah.
cause,
It's not-
probable
I
cause
get that,
could
I
be
get
Right?
anything that they.
That shouldn't be an issue.
I get that.
If they
but
don't
I'm
look
just
the
like,
age,
I don't mean
pull
to
them
be-
over, ask for their license. It's that simple.
I have officers that don't look like they're old enough to be officers.
Well, I get it, but what I'm saying is, you know, the police department already gets those crap.
Well,
Next thing
they're
you know,
used to
I'm
it.
driving in town, I look like I was,
That's-
I'm just trying to look out for that
Well,
too.
they're used to
Right.
getting crap, that's crazy.
One of the things that I see with, putting an age an age limit on vehicles, a lot of these vehicles come from the manufacturers with a stated 16 and under, not permitted. So if there's a regulation against, 18, has to be 18 and older, and the machine already states that it's allowed to be driven by 16 and older, how do we police that? Like,
Driver's license,
Yeah, as I said,
But
16.
you're saying, but we were just talking about you have to be 18.
Like I said,
Well-
we're just discussing right now. Nothing's set
Yeah.
in stone. We're just trying to like.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's just going to be
I
off
don't-
the
I
driver's
don't agree
license.
with this, it not being fair, but if you're 16 years old have a license, I think you should be able to drive.
It's gonna have to be off a driver's license, bottom line, 'cause, I mean, like right there,
If the state of Ohio already decided you qualify to have a driver's license, then
Like I said, that doesn't make sense. Like I said, right now we're just discussing. Nothing is
Yeah.
set in stone. We're just
Yeah.
trying. I'm just trying to get everybody's input.
I think it's
and
just
take
keep it
everybody's-
simple. You have a license, okay.
yeah, you got a driver's license,
Yeah.
that clears it up. Unless you lose them, then you're not allowed.
Thank you.
I guess with that, I mean, okay, next part, is everything in town, do you guys believe, free for all? I mean, every street should be, if it does pass.
As long as they stay off of mine. No,
What's it in
It's
the
gonna
street? You don't have
happen.
to worry about it anyways. No.
yeah,
Um,
I guess you could start with it that way, I mean, cause you're gonna have people complaining. they're-
9 times out of 10, they're probably gonna try to keep avoid the square anyways. I avoid the square in a personal vehicle at all costs, so, I mean,
yeah, most
you can
times.
go right up square, I wouldn't have an issue with it, I'm saying, but 9 times out of 10, they're gonna take side streets and skate around. People, you know, they wanna stop here, or they're gonna wanna just
Well,
come
if
through
we're
here to
allowed
go
to
to.
come through town, they'll stay on the main road.
Yeah,
more than
that's what I'm
likely.
saying, if they're wanting to come through here, but like right now, they're not allowed to come through here, they're skating around.
So we're gonna ignore the law that they can't operate it on?
Holmes County is unique and like,
Nope, us, or we, I don't care what Holmes County does, I'm talking about Millersburg.
what's the
Are we
question
gonna ignore
again?
the law and allow somebody to come in on 39 from the west, which is a 50 to 45?
Okay, how does Shreve do it in Wayne County, how
I
does
don't care how
Loudonville do it?
anybody else does
I
it.
got a
But
question.
the
I'm
same
talking
state
about
route
Millersburg.
runs through Loudonville as it runs right through here.
Can I ask you a question?
Same way as 80.
Okay, I'm just asking this question. So Chief Schneider, if there's a crime outside the village of Millersburg, I mean, you're allowed to go to it, right? But sheriff's office has authority over it,
We would be requested.
requested. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that once they leave our town, is there really?
That road is in town,
Huh?
that road is in town.
Well, no,
That's what I'm
once
saying.
they
Technically,
leave our
we could
town-
come in off Port Washington.
Pardon?
We could come in off Port Washington.
There's only 2 roads you can come into.
Did they change the speed limit at Port Washington?
Hmm.
Did they change the speed limit at Port Washington? It was 40.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
I,
I mean, it turns to 35 when you get around Glen Drive. but-
great.
Well, when they come into town, they're gonna be doing 25 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Because in town is 20, so they're not gonna be going up faster when they get in town. they're gonna
It's
slow
not a
down.
matter of the speed of the vehicle, it's a matter that they're operating on a roadway. They're not
That's why we
allowed
wanted
to.
to an ordinance.
So what you're saying.
We don't have the authority, I don't believe we have the authority to change that.
So I
And
guess.
how did Loudonville do it?
Let me ask you, rephrase this, so what you're saying, Tom, so now I have a chance to think about it. What you're saying is if they're coming in the west side of town and they're in our town and it's a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit, they're not supposed to be on that road.
Right.
Yeah, what he's saying is right as it's.
I understand what he's
I
saying,
understand that.
I understand what he's saying.
Or South Washington Street, or kind of a 349 or
The tractors, we wanna go
305.
back to- I saw a tractor hauling a boat.
Well, you're only.
So-
you're only
That's farm
saying
use.
That's 45 coming to town is 39, because
What-
as
what
soon as you
going
get
to
to town,
farm?
they're 35, 35, so
Boat.
this way it'd be fine.
Jones Street,
I got a
Well, it's on
question,
state
what,
roads.
Yeah.
what if you live in town already, and you're already in here?
You're good to
Oh,
go.
you're good to go, because the speed limit, as long as you don't operate, as
I'm
long as
covered, I'm out of here.
as long as you don't operate it up, you know, on a road that's.
You heard that, didn't you?
so we're all going to trailer to your house and then it's
Yeah,
free
leave
for
my
all.
house, we'll leave my house.
Okay,
And
all right.
You can come in Jones Street and 83 and. I'm not sure
Yeah,
Port Washington.
yeah, there's, I mean, you,
So-
technically, you're probably not supposed to, but 58, you can come in on 58 right there.
That's 45.
So I-
You could even come in off Dog Pound Road, hit the old fairgrounds and pass in front of the pool, and then you're in the corporation limits. Wait, the corporation limits got taken out to,
Clear out to the fairgrounds.
so you could actually come off of Dog Pound Road, you can come off of Airport Road.
But I got a question, so I don't want to put you on the spot, chief, but you are in charge of the police department here, so what are your thoughts about this? I mean, you're the one in charge.
I just think there needs to be a decision made. That's,
I agree.
No, I guess.
Well, I mean, we've had this going on for the last 10 years. I believe we can try to come up with a solution.
Yeah.
Loudonville's adopted it, Shreve has adopted it.
Well, that's fine, I just.
I'm not totally against it, but I see there's issues. You know, the complaints we've had in town isn't the driving, it's that they're in town.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, our officers find the people. It's not even a called-in complaint. So, but I know there's business owners in town that I feel have legitimate complaints that they can't use the vehicles in town. And I think they should, you know, during the winter months, we don't mess with them a whole lot whenever it's nasty out. Now, if they're driving, the only one that I know of during the winter months that we've ever dealt with was, he clearly was not going from one spot to the other. He was traveling down the street, and we're like, if you're working, we're not gonna mess with you, but mode of transportation, you can't drive in town, why you wanna argue with it? You know, and the officer called me and I said, it's up to you, write a ticket, you know, I'll back it. He's clearly not, he's traveling, he's using it for travel. You know, and they didn't get a ticket. But, you know, that's my thing is, we need to come up with something because they can be used, you know. The people doing the watering of the plants, you know, that's
hurt nothing.
I don't have a problem with them doing it, but I do because they're not allowed right now. And would I rather them be in their utility vehicle doing that than sitting, you know, their pickup truck sitting along Jackson? Absolutely. It'd be up off the sidewalk or up on the sidewalk out of the traffic flow versus us having to go around them. So I just think it needs to be either we're gonna do it or we're not, and we need to quit every 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years, coming back and saying, well, what do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, we've been on it for over 10 years, so.
And I respect that because he wants to uphold the law of Phillipsburg, so I respect that. So I'm wait kicking this down the road for the legislators to, it's not helping
Yeah,
him.
well, it's sat in the house for a year and a half stagnant right now, and I
Yeah,
don't see
there
another
was-
3 months gonna change anything.
There was a total of 3 meetings between April and May of 2025,
But,
and it hasn't moved since. But that was
yeah.
part of trying to do this. But then we get in front of Kevin Miller and he said, you know, that's great and all, but he's like, we really need people reaching out to their local representatives. And so, you know, that's what we started doing. I haven't made a big push on that yet because I've been kind of enjoying my summer and a break away from this. But he tasked me with researching like the revenue part for the different states that actually now allow that stuff, so.
well, I just want you to know that I think one reason why this has been delayed is we finally have a council that's willing to at least talk about it. Because I feel like in the past, people are so set at just not doing anything, and now there's some people, things have changed, and I'm not saying things will change, but at least we're talking about it. That's the only
Absolutely.
thing we talk about, whether it happens or not, talk about it.
So I guess in everybody's opinion, I guess not everybody would agree, but do you guys think that if we would pass this, we can always down the road, like through council, if it does fix at the state level or whenever it does, whenever they kick the can far enough, we could always revise it to follow that. But as of now, I don't know why we couldn't pass something to follow to allow them through town. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, we could allow the ordinance to allow them through town, but then if it changes at state level and fixes it at state level like Tom wants, then we can always revise it or revoke it, correct? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you
Or
just have to
remove
make
it.
sure you're in compliance with
Ordinances can always
whatever's
be
passed.
changed. That's
yeah,
a lot of other
but
stuff.
that's what I'm saying though, but it's been over 10 years and nothing has changed at the state level, so I believe that we need to try to get, like I said, gather what information we can. Like I said, we have most of it here, and just try to see and push this forward. I mean, see what council votes.
Could I say, could we, because we're only 4 months away from the beginning of the year, I still think it's important for the residents in town to have their voice be heard, whether they want this or not.
Well, we have a council meeting every 2 weeks
Yeah,
for the rest of the year.
We represent, so the argument about that is people get elected, and I respect that the people have a say.
Yeah.
But not everybody, as an elected official, I have learned, I don't make everybody happy.
No, I
I'm
understand.
not even sure if I make anybody happy.
Yeah, I'm saying,
But here's the deal, we represent them. So we're gonna be able to talk to everybody in town and
Absolutely.
find exactly what every
I'm
person
just,
thinks about
I'm
something.
just
We
asking,
represent
give it another
the
month or
justice.
two and say to the residents, hey, tell us what you want, you know? Because some people don't want it, some people do.
Like I said, I don't have social media, but there's been numerous polls out there that
There
has,
has-
everybody has voted. Like I said, they said yes, they're for them. So I mean, there is a push for it.
There is a larger vote for forum, or they don't care
Or
either
they're
way
neutral.
than there
And-
ever
and-
was
and-
for
and
no.
this- and we're gonna go about this will of the people thing again. If 10 people show up in here and they're against it, that's not the will of the people, okay? So we're not gonna go, yeah, that's fine. This will be out there, and I'm sure I'll get crap for what I'm saying.
No.
But they can show up to the council meetings, but that still doesn't mean that if 10 people show up, they represent what everybody
Yeah,
thinks.
absolutely.
Because I still say that people that don't show up, they either don't care.
Yeah.
Can we
So I can,
put a survey on the website for village residents to,
I mean, like
I
I
mean,
said,
I would-
there's been multiple surveys. I don't know what the
but I
change
mean,
would
driven
be.
by
but
us?
What would you want on it? I mean,
Well, the
basically, would you be
desire-
for it, or
know,
would you want to have to go with like a regulation list type thing?
No,
what-
well, I think you need to let them know what we're considering and then let them,
But I want to figure out at this meeting to take the council. I want to know, like, I want to try to go everything here. I don't want to drag these meetings out for 3 months. I'd like to, let's figure out
But if
what
we're
kind of,
gonna-
what rules do we want to follow? To
So
take
you
the
wanna
council to
hammer
then
the
let them
rules-
decide.
You wanna hammer the rules out tonight?
I mean, I'd like to get a pretty firm grasp on it. I don't want to drag this out till the first of the year. I'd like to,
I think
the next council meeting will be September 14th, so I'd like to present to them what we found tonight, kind of where everybody's at, and then see where they're at, if they want more information, or if they decide they want to vote to pursue it forward, then we could try to gather back the next time and come up with the regulations.
Right.
If that would be, give everybody a chance to look over these.
Could you set the date for bringing it to council, and then give anybody in town, say, the next council meeting, show up, and then, give them one meeting to come,
At the next meeting, or the one after
Well, I'm
announcing
saying
it at that meeting?
We vote on the next meeting, so we have 2 meetings a month starting in September, so our next meeting, so the second meeting in September, we wanna hear from you, if this place is packed, if it's not, and then we go from there. It's not dragging it out, it's just a month, this is a.
Yeah, but it's already been drug on for 10 years, so it'd be nice to
Yeah.
maybe chase this down a little.
Council, they didn't wanna do anything, they just were stuck in the ways of, and they weren't open to anything, that's all I'm saying.
Like I said, that's why we talked about inspections, and I'd like to just kind of clarify the law with that and try to see.
Is there a way that this committee could reconvene before that meeting and get things hammered out
I gotta have a 2-week window, is that correct? I've not been on council long enough. It's gotta be in the
Yeah,
paper for
that's
2
like
weeks.
2
If I-
weeks.
You have a 2-week window, cause we have 5 weeks, so you have enough time.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could schedule it between the 2
So
meetings.
Solicitors, sorry, I can't remember your name.
Jason,
It would
So
be the
they
week
could do
before,
this.
right? It would be the week before,
If
right?
if something like this were
The
to
second and
pass,
fourth
it takes us what,
Mondays
about
of the month
to come up with
is
the
when we have
legislation, you need
council
about,
meetings.
we had to do 3 readings, right?
Yeah, typically, yeah.
Yeah, so that means
So,
if you did the end of September, you'd be looking
it would
at
be the
first part of
5th.
November.
Well, it'd be the 3rd of
And that
September
actually
that
too, the 3 readings.
the committee,
if
we
people
could
were
meet
against
again in
it,
2
still
weeks,
be on
right?
top
And
of
like
it.
hammer out everything.
Mhm.
So it'd be
Again,
September 3rd.
this will of the
That would be
people thing,
before the next council
No, I'm not
meeting,
talking about the
which
will. I was
is
talking
the
about-
14th, correct?
The people I talked to,
Okay.
it's literally split
That would
down the
still
middle.
give us time, and then everybody could
That's
think
why I wanted that.
about.
no, all
what's
I've
important
gotten
to
is
them,
either
what they
neutral
feel
or
is
yes.
important.
I have gotten no
yeah, I've
negativity.
gotten any no's.
Okay, well,
I've got no negativity on my end.
I've gotten 50-50, yes and no, so that's all I'm telling
And I know this county, when they're against a levy, when they're against something, they will pack a room when they're against something.
Absolutely. So, since maybe we're not as prepared as we want to be to lay out the rules before the council meeting, we could reconvene on September 3rd, which would be before the next council meeting, correct? And hammer everything out
I
for
don't
that.
have I
you.
mean,
You have to do the full.
Yeah, I just looked.
yeah, I just got, okay.
I just looked,
It's
so
just gotta be
then-
in the paper for 2 weeks. That's regulations through council.
So, if we get it in the paper tomorrow, we'd be,
Like I said, we already have the committee formed. I basically just changed the date, more or less.
It has
Yeah.
to be 11.
why don't we work on a set of rules and send it? Do you have emails for everybody?
Yeah.
And send it out so that they can look at it and see what. they
Are
want
you
to
saying
put
have
together.
council work on the rules, or,
No.
I mean, is it everybody, like, what? I mean, like, looking at it, like I said, between Loudonville and Coshocton, I think between the two, we could come up with a very solid conclusion.
Yeah,
Well,
just,
send those rules out.
I
and
have
See if anybody has any
suggestions for that.
objections to anything. Like
Just take-
Loudonville has, you're not allowed to operate it on the road with snow, I mean.
So George,
Oh, yeah, but people have plows and like,
I'm not saying, I'm saying that's a rule. So we would want to take that out. I'm
yeah,
not saying that,
yeah, that's what I'm saying, we'd have to kinda go through in
yeah,
Coleman to fit Millersburg.
yeah.
Not,
That's
I
why,
understand, I'm not one to copy and paste nothing, but, you know, it gives you kind of guidelines.
yeah, that's why I say
where
get
we're
it out
wanting
to
to go.
everybody and get feedback and come up with a more solid list.
So I believe everybody received an email showing that for the next meeting, that you guys received it. Everybody should be all on that one. You guys received for the next meeting, that we supposed to be here.
I'm dicey on some of my meetings right at the moment. Cause Brenda's gonna start chemo here in 2 weeks, and
I'd say we only gotta have
so
2/3, is that right, Matt, or Tom? Or-
if I can, I'll be
Okay.
there. Just so it depends when,
Are we gonna create rules before we have the meeting to invite people in? Sort of a, I mean, we can have them created, but I'm not sure.
I mean, we basically kinda have guidelines here that you had created, it looks like, for the application process, but that's the first I've seen it. So, I mean, you know, kinda everybody put their ideas together, and then we all present them at the next meeting and kinda can,
What I'm saying is, do we wanna meet after the next council meeting to see what response we get, if any?
but would we be able to get this poll put out quicker, so we'd have it all done before the next meeting? Like I said, I don't wanna drag this out into next year and wait on the state, I'm not doing it. I'd like to pursue this. So, I mean, it's whether you wanna do the poll, like, what does everybody wanna do? Do we wanna do a poll and then meet after the next council meeting, try to get community input? Or do we wanna kinda come up with the rest set of regulations and then let the community figure it out? Or come in and, like,
I think you can, I mean, cause like I said, we have to do 3 readings.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
instead of,
Get your stuff together now, and then we do our
Yes.
readings, cause you have 3 meetings.
like I said, I'd like to come up with kind of the guidelines now and then
Yeah.
reconvene and then kinda hash them out from there. So, I guess if everybody wants to kinda look it over and jot down notes.
I mean, in the end, council approves them.
Yeah, I understand. Council has final say, but I mean, gotta have something to bring to council to then take if it passes to go to solicitor. So. Just trying to think, do we wanna,
So you have time for another meeting, cause that's the 14th, so.
Yeah, they do.
is everybody good with the 3rd? I know it's heading right towards Labor Day though. Does everybody have any plan? What is the 3rd on? Is that,
It's a Thursday.
So that's not 2 weeks.
but I only gotta have half present on the committee, correct?
It's either a Wednesday or a
You
Thursday.
have what?
I only gotta have half the people present to have the
Majority.
the 3rd is a Thursday, so,
Okay.
and that is 2 weeks
So
from
that,
now.
I mean, that's what, sorry.
That's 2 weeks from now.
Okay, I mean, it says it's gotta hit the paper, and like I
It would
said,
make it to the bargain
Cause I gotta make
hunt.
a bargain hunter time, bargain hunter's already printed, you tell them next week, you can have it the following week.
Yeah, but
You
then-
can still have it the following week, but bargain hunter's printed for this weekend, so, you know what I'm saying, if it's gotta be in there for 2 straight weeks.
No, not in, it has to be 2 weeks ahead.
Does it have to specifically be in the Bargain Hunter, or can it be in the Daily Record?
Paper we have, but whatever.
I think that's what we use, that's the.
You can put on the radio tomorrow.
Yeah, then the radio, or it could be on the Facebook.
Yeah, it can be all over Facebook, the radio, whatever it needs to be,
I
but,
mean, this was publicized, right?
yeah,
This is
Yes.
what showed up.
yeah.
yeah. I don't know how many times people sent that thing to me from Facebook, and I'm like, yes, I already know I'm on the committee. Oh, great.
So I guess I'm new with the whole thing. Do you think we can have that committee before that be in the paper long enough? I know that's probably a Bobby question,
I
but,
think so, I mean, like I say, the bargain hunter comes out, they print it on Wednesdays or Thursdays.
but even if it's on the radio, it's still publicized for 2 weeks, and then the bargain hunter for a week, it's still,
It would have had to been into the bargain hunter before noon today.
Right, to be, yeah. So if you guys decide it has to be the following week, you'd have to have
And
it.
you still have to have
Which
time.
would still be before the next council meeting.
I'd rather not do the 3rd. I was invited out to the elementary school for one of their open houses, so I would kinda like
So
to
the next
be
week.
out there. Like to be in both spots.
And that's still
Right.
before the next
Keep being
council.
Would the 10th work for everybody? That would still give us our 2-week window.
That's
Looks like-
perfectly
Say the
fine with
10th?
me.
That would be the 10th, it'd be the Thursday after Labor Day.
Okay.
And that would still give us our time, like I said, if everybody wants to kind of figure out kind of what you guys think. And kind of come up with a list of, you know, where you think it should be.
I'm gonna be out of town on the 10th.
But
Do you ever work?
You are grounded.
I'm gonna
Mr.
work on the 3rd. I gotta go to the elementary school.
Okay. Well, that's out of your jurisdiction, so, no.
Well, him not being there was hurting.
No, because the committee's still here, but
You say the 10th?
I'm thinking the 10th. Will Tom work for you, Tom?
Can you just
we can do
email
it
your input to
6
one
and
of
not
us?
5.
Yeah.
Because I'm in Pickaway County that day.
As long as you do the speed limit back, right?
I generally do.
Okay. So is everybody good with the 10th at 6 o'clock? So Tom can be here?
At 6?
Yeah,
At 6 p.m.
correct.
on the 10th.
On the 10th. So 9, 10, 6 p.m.
And this will give it.
Good truck. Here, have the shitty one.
So I guess while we're here, I had one more question for Tom. If you got a minute. I know it's probably been over 10 years ago when Harold Mollett come in, or not Harold Mollett, but his kids had come in and asked if they could use his side-by-side to come in 58 to go get his prescriptions. You classified that as a UTV because it was a Kubota with windshield, turn signals, horn,
It was
working
It
bed.
was a UTV, but I'll tell you exactly why I posted it. Mr. Mullet told me that the reason he drove that was he can't feel his legs.
Oh,
So why are you putting him in a vehicle that he can't feel his legs?
Okay, but like in the article though, in the minutes though, it basically stated that you said, you know, you was against it, that wasn't classified as a UTV between you and Bob. And come together and said that that was not classified as a,
I don't know
Legal
that I ever
UTV.
said that it wasn't a utility vehicle. I mean, it clearly was. She just
okay,
voted
so
it
why
was.
wouldn't it have been, like, why wouldn't it have been legal for anybody else to do it at that point?
We didn't pass an ordinance to allow it.
Okay, but
He had the plate and everything on it.
that's what I'm saying. At the county level, they would technically would have approved that.
Yeah, they did it
But
to
we
license.
didn't have an ordinance to allow it in town. So I guess I don't know what your question is.
But I guess like you're stating,
That's what we're here for, is decided we want to allow utility vehicles in town.
no, I
We didn't
understand.
have an ordinance back then, so we couldn't drive it in town.
How
But-
long ago was that?
That was 10 years
So
ago.
that's why this needs to get resolved.
Well, that's,
Yeah, 10 years.
and we've had 4 or 5 instances between now and then of people wanting them and not against them, so. Okay, so I guess we'll work on adjourning the meeting, so everybody's good for the 10th? At
Yes,
6 PM, correct?
yes. And our goal is to set guidelines.
Kind of come up with
before
your
the
list of
council meeting,
guidelines and then
correct?
we'll all come together and kind of hash them out to bring to council then for the 14th.
All right, I'll point out then why we shouldn't have stickers or we should have an
Like I said,
easy
whatever information, like I said, this is
identifier
kind
for
of
the
a
officers.
informative meeting, kind of get everybody on the same page and
Gotcha.
then we'll come back together and go
That'll
that
give
route.
everybody a chance to do their research and get their heads together.
Will you be able to attend? If there is any more
It'll
questions?
probably be Tom Gilman.
Okay.
The 10th's my birthday, so.
Well, happy
Happy
birthday.
You want to spend it with us or what?
Well, if it were an earlier meeting, maybe.
We're not that bad, I don't think.
You can still shut it
I
down. You can still shut it
It
down.
might be
This is a
easier, I don't know.
I'll bring cake the next, I'll bring cake.
I'll bring some candles.
That's tempting.
Do you like chocolate or vanilla?
Say, we'll bring you a cake, if that's the case. Okay, so I guess we're gonna end with that. I just need a motion to adjourn.
So maybe.
Second? Okay, and then all in favor say aye.
I,
Okay, meeting's adjourned.
very nice to meet you, by the way.
One was
Sweet.
weird.
Okay.
Might be.